Hi, we'll be potato and tea wine.
Potato and tea wine, that is right. This is a brilliant recipe that I devised a while back, and I love it. The tea carries that potato flavour and it becomes nearly whiskey-like. And have you tried it before?
No.
No, you haven't, have you? No. So what we need for this recipe is 2 kilograms of potatoes, 20 tea bags, which are here, just normal, generic, household standard builder's breakfast tea bags. You like tea, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah? Brilliant. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is chop the 2 kilograms of potatoes. Chunk them, slice them, dice them. It doesn't really matter what size you chunk them. You ready to do some chopping? So let's get on and chop the spuds.
Let me do
Let you do it,
it.
okay. Like that, yep. Chop. Mind your fingers.
Oh, what's a tough potato?
It is a tough potato. Want me to do it?
No. I thought it.
Because this much potato carries a lot of the flavour into the wine. So it makes it extra tasty. With your 2 kilograms of potatoes chopped up, chunked up and looking brilliant, you want to throw them into a big saucepan, stock pot, like this one that we have ready now. And then we're going to pour over 4 litres of boiling water, aren't we? So we need to get the kettle on ready. And let them boil up and then come to a simmer. You want to simmer them as though you're going to mash them ready for your dinner. What are we having for dinner?
Potato.
We're having potatoes, aren't we? Mashed potato. Do you fancy bangers and mash?
What is banana?
Sausages.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we're going to have bangers and mash for dinner using this lovely mashed potato from making the wine. So fundamentally, the wine is near enough free. So shove the potatoes into the saucepan.
Lots a lot of water.
It is. But what I want you to do, Ronnie,
Why you wait?
it will, but the sugar will turn into alcohol because we add the yeast and the yeast turns sugar into carbon dioxide and also alcohol. It's a scientific process. Whilst the potatoes are on the boil and simmering, we want to prepare the sugar and the tea ready to add the liquid to the sugar syrup mix. So what we want to do now is pour in 1 kilogram of brown sugar into a fermentation bucket. We are using brown sugar because the brown sugar adds such a lovely nutty flavour to the wine. It is divine, it is brilliant, it is beautiful, it's sweet, succulent, nutty, peaty, and it goes really well with the potatoes and tea. So what we need to do now is slice 1 lemon and squeeze it, juice it, and get all that lovely juice into the sugar.
Yeah, I know how to tease it. Tease it and dance it.
You do?
Waffle rice with it. Then I do it. Oh. Right then.
Now what do we need to do?
Pour it in. I would slices out of those.
That slices out of juice, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, squeeze the other slice in, and then squeeze the other half of the lemon in. So what we need to do now is add 20 tea bags to the wine.
Oh, all of them?
All of them. Count them all in. So what we need to do now is wait for those potatoes to come up to the boil, a roaring boil, and then simmer, ready to be mashed. And then we'll be with you in a moment now, won't we? Should we have a chocolate chip cookie? So we're going to go and have a cookie, and we'll be back with you in a few moments now. See you soon.
Yeah.
Good job, good job. High five. With your potatoes being brought up to the boil and simmered for about half an hour, and all that lovely flavour and juice released into the liquid, we simply want to pour it over the sugar, tea bags, what else?
Wow.
the lemon. So let's pour over the liquid on top of all that lovely divine everything else. So, mister, it's going to be hot, it's going to be boiling, so stand back.
Do we leave them in there?
We leave the potatoes in the pan, Ronnie.
Yeah, for dinner.
For dinner, that's right. So we're going to mash those up after and have mashed potato. We only want the lovely golden juice from the potatoes, because that carries a lot of the flavour and the starch and sugar for the potato wine. So, what we need to do now is give this lovely sugar and potato juice and tea bags a big, wonderful stir. So,
what does it smell like?
what does it smell like? Very good question. It smells starchy, sweet, especially that golden sugar going in, that brown sugar. So you give it a really good stir.
Is one enough?
Is it enough? Is there any sugar you can feel?
I don't know that is.
Okay, so I think that's done.
What does it? That's just a rabbit in it.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't like rabbits a lot.
You don't know.
No,
But
they are spicy.
They are spicy. But the lemon here adds something called citric acid, which helps the yeast and also helps to balance the flavour of the wine. Oh, the airlock. So what we need to do now, Ronnie,
What?
is put a lid on top of here and let it cool down to room temperature. Okay?
Yeah, and it's too hard to take right now.
That's right, yeah.
It's only spoon our water and our mouth.
Hey, well, you can't drink it like this.
No,
that'd be
it'll be way too hot.
way too hot, yeah. So we're going to put the lid on and let it cool. So that
Yeah, let me do it.
let you do it.
Like this. Now we go.
There we are, good job. So we're going to let this cool down to room temperature, and then we'll come back and we'll add the yeast. So we're going to let this cool down, room temperature, and we'll be back with you in a few moments' time when it's cool. Fantastic, see you soon. And I'm back. The lovely potato and tea mixture, the potato tea wine, has cooled down to room temperature. So now we want to be adding the yeast and the yeast nutrient to the mix. I'm just using a standard general purpose wine yeast for this wine. We could use a stronger alcohol wine yeast and that would certainly help with the potato flavour, but I find a general purpose wine yeast does a perfectly good job. So sprinkle in your general purpose or whichever wine yeast you fancy into the big fermentation vessel along with some yeast nutrients to give that yeast a good head start into becoming fervid, vivacious and gorgeously fermenting around. Fantastic. And now we just need to seal it back up with the lid on top and place it in a warm place to ferment for 3 or 4 days. Get that yeast going really well. The tea bags are still in there and they will carry on to infuse their teeness and the tannin and make this wine a fantastic, really gorgeous whiskey peaty-like, dense, dark, delicious wine. This wine, brilliant, fantastic. You will love potato tea. You will love potato tea wine. So I'll be back with you in a few days when we move on to the next process of putting it into a demijohn. So, back in a moment now. And we're back after a few days of the lovely potato and tea wine, the potato tea wine, fermenting vigorously and bubbly and being all brilliant in the fermentation buckets. Next step we want to get into is scooping out all of those lovely tea bags and the lemon, get rid of it, compost heap, wherever you want to put it. The aroma coming from the bucket is sweet and succulent and divine. You just know this is going to be a mouthful of heaven when you come to drink it. So what we want to do now is transfer this liquid into a clean, sanitized, sterilized demijohn. And the easiest way is just to use a funnel and pour it straight in. And as you pour it in, you can see the luscious colour coming through, that lovely potato orangey, and tea baggy tannin. This is going to be a heavy, divine, brilliant drink. This wine really is quite aggressive in the fermentation stage. So I haven't filled it all the way to the very neck of the demijohn. I've left that bit of space for it just to carry on bubbling, fermenting, being all frothy, foamy, divinely active and fervid, which is what you want in a good yeast. So the leftover liquid I'm going to pour into a wine bottle, set aside in the fridge, and just use that to top up as and when that initial fervid fermentation has taken place and calmed down. And now, all we simply need to do is insert a clean airlock with your liquid of choice inside and set it aside until it's finished fermenting. Once it has finished fermenting, rack off the liquid from that sediment that it's through. And if you need to top it up after racking, top it up with a cup of tea. And if you have a surplus of potatoes, why don't you check out this video up by here for another fantastic recipe involving potatoes as the main source of your winemaking. Fantastic. You have a brilliant day now, and I'll see you really soon. Have fun.